All right, 93 Evo 1 that I have for sale. Let's do a little video walk around. Start with the front, I guess, before we do that. Looks like it might have been minor, fender bender, like a city car kind of situation, because there's webbing and missing paint. It's broken a little bit down there. I do know the mesh is missing. The intercooler is beat up. I did actually pressure test it, and it held 15 psi, no problem. So I assume no leaks. We'll call it good. I did have the bumper off. Nothing's bent, per se, behind the bumper, intercooler, the piping, anything like that. It's just it looks like the bumper just had the minor fender benders. That guy's got a crack. I replaced all the bulbs in the front because most of them didn't work. They were just heavily corroded. All bone stock. The only mod I have that I did was the exhaust. This blow-off valve came on it. It's a SARD blow-off valve. It's got a Walmart battery. Let's see. It had a leaky valve cover gasket, and it leaked everywhere. You can see it's tons of oil. This has been over time, just dripping down everywhere. It looked, someone had been in it before. They did kind of a terrible job at it. I think that's why it was leaking so bad. Replaced it. Put about a can of brake clean all over the place, and it seems to be holding up just fine. At least it's very much more dry than it used to be. Spark plugs, I did not do them, but they are not original. They looked pretty new, so I'm gonna assume they're pretty recent. Same with the wires. When I did the valve cover, I did have to replace the hose that goes from top of the valve cover to the intake, and then that one hose that goes over to the blow valve. Rock hard. Basically just broke as I took it apart. I would say assume anything else you're going to do in this car. Hose wise, same thing, especially if they get really hot. They're going to be rock hard. I got a 300 ZX. It was the same way. Don't really have any rust outside of stuff, like this. It's not like you're a heavily rusted car. Strut towers are fine. When I got it, everything was bone stock, including the suspension, all the bushings. So I put BC coilovers on it. It came with the boost gauge, but it didn't work. So I replaced the MAP sensor to get it going. There is a plug for a wideband. I do have the wideband, I just didn't connect it into the exhaust. It's pretty good. There's the VIN. Paint is not the best, not awful, but definitely needs work. You got this mark here, not sure where that's from. Some missing paint. I think it's been repainted. Got some chipping. Not 100% sure. What makes me think it's been repainted is this guy here. Let's see. Yeah. Glass is good. This mirror, it doesn't move while it's driving, but you could tell it just doesn't. It's supposed to have a power fold. Power fold doesn't work on either side. It's a little loose. Does have a rebuilt title. Got hit in the back. I bought it from Copart. All I needed was a trunk and a bumper, and is able to pass inspection. They didn't question anything. There's that. There's a rebuilt sticker. All Evo 123s have roof rust. Basically, Mitsubishi used sealant that holds water, or an adhesive that holds water, and it just rusts from the inside out. These are the bows. You can see the rust spots are in the line. And then this one here, this one, this one, and this one. This one might be able to be saved. That side there, and then a couple spots right there, right there. This one you might have to get a new bow for if you wanted to replace it. This one too, just because how bad these are. Roof skins and bows, I haven't been able to find them here in the US. I don't think they're available. You can get them from overseas. The quotes I got were anywhere from $1,800 to $2,000 for a couple of the bows, and the roof shipped to my door here in Illinois. There is some paint fading on the top. It's decent, but there are some spots. There's some little bit of fading on top of the door here. You can see here is the Mitsubishi Mirage trunk lid. It's also got the bumper. This is the original Evo spoiler. Don't have the caps, so it has a strip caulk in there. So you can tell this is where it was hit. Basically what happened was the car hit here. It pushed the trunk lid in, and the trunk striker was also pushed in. So I had a body shop. It took half an hour, pull it back and then put the trunk lid on. It was able to close right away. The paint does not match. As you can see, it's close, but definitely doesn't match. The Mirage bumpers stick out a little bit farther than the US ones. Also, there is no side marker. I do have the original trunk and the original bumper. Might be able to fix it. I'm not a metal guy or a body guy, so didn't bother trying. We pop the trunk. Taillights, there is supposed to be some sort of foam weather stripping around it. Definitely all of it disintegrated. So if you go through a car wash, you'll probably get some water in the trunk. Taillights don't line 100% because this panel right here that has, you know, spot welds in is, I think it is a little bit warped from the accident. You can still get this part number from Mitsubishi. You basically just need to drill out those spot welds and panel bond the new one on and put your striker on, and all the lights and everything should match up. You can see impact was minor. It didn't get to the tub where the wheel spare tire would normally be. It doesn't have the spare. It does have an extra set of wheels. I had these 17s that I put on with some new Falken tires. The stock, I don't call them stock, but the tires that came on the car when I got it, one had a bubble, so I'm just using one of the other ones as a spare. You can see the tub, totally fine. There isn't any rust on the car. I would say I use that with an asterisk on it. It is old, so the rust under the hood that I showed you, there's some there. And if you pull the stripping back, you know, there is some like that in here. Here we go. I'll put the car up on the lift and you can take a look at the underside. But trunk works. Okay, for the interior, it's got 192 kilometers. Yeah, it's about 119,000 miles. I have a little Amazon GPS speedometer. That's the boost gauge. Seats. I mean, decent shape for original. I did spend about an hour with a steamer and a carpet cleaner to try and get them as clean as possible, because my kids are going to be in the car, you'll see in a second. So the seat's in good shape. It is dirty still. I mean, that's just dirty old stains. This is the driver bolster. The suede is worn smooth. There's a little, I assume, probably going to be a cigarette burn there. You know, carpets are good. Just throw some mats on it. There's the passenger seat. Same thing. I mean, they were pretty nasty. So this is cleaned up pretty good. I mean, I'm not a professional detailer, but I did spend a good amount of time and I got them, I think, pretty good. Missing the center console is missing the lid. When I got the car, there was some sort of, looked like dried water on the dash. You might be able to see it. Up there, yeah, up in there. Yeah, that white stuff. A little bit harder to get to because you need some pressure to kind of get it off, but you know, it's kind of all over the place. I got most of it out. Let's see here. Everything on the inside, you know, lights work. The radio works, everything's got speakers, Pioneer in the front, Memphis at the back. The HVAC controls, it does have lines in it. Close the door. You can get a Mitsubishi Diamante control panel. It's pretty close to the same fit. There we go. And then it gets a little worse when you put the lights on. It's just the dimming. The blend door, so you can see this panel control. Not sure why the video cut out, but you can see the panel, the little lights here. It's got lines. Like I was saying, the Mitsubishi Diamante has a very similar panel. You can replace it. It just has a little bit of different mounting. This has a issue, I think, with the blend door, because HVAC on. You might be here. Click. I forget how to put it on. Yeah, sorry, I forget what setting, but there's a clicking on a particular setting where it goes click, 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 click for probably about 30 seconds, then it stops. It does move, you know, air moves up from here to the top to the feet, Air conditioning works, compressor kicks on. It is cold. It's not super cold, but it is cold. I was able to drive it on a 9-degree day on the highway, and just barely enough to keep me okay comfortable. You know, wasn't the best, but it definitely had something. Turn the lights off. I'll show the back. You'll have to excuse the car seats in the back. Oh, door panel. It's missing this grill cover, but that one does have it. I'll just do the door panel. A little bit faded, but you know, as expected. Car seats, not going to come with. I will take them out, but I keep them in because they're kind of a pain in the butt to get them in there. But the back seat, it is there. You can see it's a little bit, you got fading. Let me get it back. There we go. You can see the lighter blue and the darker blue. Same with here. Dark and then light. Back seats, I would say, you know, they're in there. They're comfortable. They work. The seat belts work. They lock. You know, kid seats stay in just fine. I would say the back seats look very similar to the passenger seat. So underneath those seats, it looks a lot like this. You know, they don't have holes, no rips, no tears. Definitely usable, but they cleaned up about the same as this guy. See the door panel. Again, same as the front. It's all there, just faded. I mean, it's however many old cars. Carpet's clean. It's in one piece. It's clean. Doesn't smell too funny. Maybe because that JDM smell. I don't know. In case I didn't say, missing the center console, the arm lid. Yep. Ashtray doesn't have really any junk in it, so if they were a smoker, they were a neat smoker. Okay, here's underside. You can see the bumper is okay. There was some black vinyl that was on the front bumper to hide, you know, hide this stuff. You see it's right. Change the oil filter. This is the exhaust. It's just bolted on there, and then kind of a one piece all the way back. I just bought a couple parts. Had a muffler shop. You know, just do a little quickie weld up job just to make sure I liked it. And then, you know, eventually I thought maybe I'd buy JDM exhaust, but I mean, it's like $1,200 to get one. So this 3-inch all the way back served its purpose. You can see it's got a little wet there. Again, I probably changed the valve cover gasket, I don't know, 20 miles ago. So I'm not sure if that's still residue from it, because it was leaking, like I said, awfully bad, but there is some wetness. I'd assume there's something else leaking because it goes all the way up there. That's the valve cover was, straight up there. But I mean, it's a DSM. They all leak something at some point. See these scrapes? I'm guessing that's the forks from Copart when they put it on the trailer. See the boots look good on this side. The other side had ripped. See the bottom of the coilover. New tie rod end. See, there's not really any rust down here. The lines aren't rusted. Okay, more marks. Bushings, yeah, they're decent. They're fine. They're probably hard. But I imagine if you're going to take any of this stuff off, plan on replacing it anyway. You can see it's got the new boot on that side and the inside. The other one was done too. There's more of the body, pinch welds. This plug, that's where I was going to run the wideband to. The factory, there's a factory, I think it's a cat sensor. It's tucked up in here and it comes out and it plugs in on the stock exhaust, which I do have. So you can see it's, I mean, there is no rust on the underside. Center diff bearing will probably need to be replaced. It doesn't have any weird wobbles or growls or anything, but I mean, It might need replacing at some point. I'm pretty sure there's supposed to be a boot. I think there's a boot and they're covering that. I think. Not sure though. Again, no rusted lines or anything. So here's parking brake line. See, the bushing seems okay. They're probably gonna be hard, but again, if you're ever to take them out, probably plan on replacing it. This guy is probably gonna be a little loose, while not cracked. I mean, I can almost turn it with my hand. So that one's pretty loose. This guy I replaced it because it made the wheel rock back and forth. That arm there. I do have a replacement for this one. Just haven't had time to put it on. It's got Subaru STI end links because that's what's available. You can see it's got the pads. The pads in there. A diff, mustache bar. So there is a clunk. The clunk you hear is from this bar moving around. It'll be hard to see. Maybe I'll show you. There it is. You see that crack? Kind of where the little white spot is. There we go. Yep, totally gone. And this side too. Let me zoom. Yeah. So the bushing's totally shot on this guy. So it doesn't happen all the time, but you know, it's definitely, you definitely hear it when you're driving at times. So it's this bar that's here. So this, they call it the mustache bar. So it runs around, goes down here, supports the back of the diff, and here it is on this side, right here. So to replace it, sway bar comes undone, drop the exhaust a little bit, these two bolts, and then you just kind of lower the subframe a little bit, and you should be able to sneak this bar out to replace it. I have the bushings for these and this. These bushings in here. There's my light. Here's where I was saying the only part of rust that I've seen on the car is, let me zoom out, this guy here. Trunk, looks like this does go all the way through. A small pinhole, I did put some strip caulk in there. There's a little bit there. This isn't through, but you can see it's starting to come on this side. You see these aren't rusted out, these dog legs up in there, or on this side. And again, from the accident, it wasn't, I mean, again, here's the tub that the spare tire fits. It wasn't touched. And that panel I was talking about, you can kind of see it. So, here. So you see this line here? You can see that's kind of as far as it got. And then up, let me try and zoom in. You can see the panel I was talking, there was a replacement panel you can buy. You can see, kind of in there. So this part with the bolt in it, that's the Mirage bumper support. And then the kind of rusted out part that you can see up there, that surface rust, that's the paint flaking off from the accident. So we just pushed that plate in, or pushed that panel in, and then caught a little bit of this part here, which is that part. So yeah, the tub wasn't affected. So, I mean, still an accident, but you know, it's not like it was crunched all the way in and you have a wrinkly spare tire tub. Again, legs, exhaust. It's not a knockoff, real HKS. Bought it from one of my suppliers. Brand new Falken tires.